Mark Cuban made his billions with outside-the-box thinking, but he's got a different kind of outside-the-box thought for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm Mike Sherman, sports editor of the Oklahoman, and here to talk about Mark Cuban's suggestion for the Thunder is our Thunder beat writer, Anthony Slater. Anthony, what's Cuban got up his sleeve on this one?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's talking about the Thunder should tank because of the injuries they're facing right now. I mean, to be honest, you know, from Cuban's perspective, yeah, that'd be great. That takes a playoff team out of the West, a title contender. If Cuban thinks his team is a title contender, which Charles Barkley, I think, labeled them the favorites in the West, the Mavs, which I don't necessarily agree with. But, you know, you don't have to face the Thunder in the West then if they were to tank. So, I mean, in my mind, sure, that would be a great idea for Mark Cuban. Is it a great idea for the Thunder? No chance, no shot, not unless one of the big guys, or maybe almost both of the big guys, you know, Durant and Westbrook, would have to go down for extended periods, maybe in a season, for the Thunder to even think about that.
In Cuban's defense, Anthony, there is a precedent for this. The San Antonio Spurs tanked when Tim Duncan was lost for the season in 1997. However, there's a few caveats. One, Cuban didn't really throw this out as a, hey, they should do this. He said, has anybody asked the question?
Yeah.
That's his disclaimer. But also, there's a big difference between what San Antonio did in 97 and what the Thunder has in front of it right now.
Yeah, David Robb, they had one big star. I mean, they had a good team. I think they had went to the Western Conference Finals, won 60 games 2 years before, 50-something. So they were a good team, but David Robinson was their one big star. He had an early season injury like this. Came back for 6 games. They didn't have a good record when he came back. Then broke his foot, so he's out for the year. And that's kind of when they really started tanking. They had some other injuries around it like the Thunder have had. But the position the Thunder are in, which is they have 2 stars. They have Serge Ibaka. They have some other pieces. Plus, these guys are going to be back by late November, at least by mid-December when it's – if you had to put a guess on it right now, the Thunder would still make the playoffs, in my opinion, probably in most people's opinions. And if they're in the playoffs and healthy, which you would assume they will be, there's no reason to tank. They could maybe win the title.
Finally, tanking doesn't really seem to be in the DNA for this team.
No, I mean, not at all. Although, Sam Hinkie and there's these people that relate the tanking, phenomenon kind of to the Thunder and what they did in the past with, in the Seattle days, getting Kevin Durant. So potentially if, 5 years from now, if Durant's gone and some of that stuff, that's something I could maybe see this organization doing. But how their roster is constructed, everyone talks about the Kevin Durant 2006 free agency. How would it look if they're like, you know what, Kevin, maybe sit some of this year, get yourself fully healthy. We're just going to not make the playoffs to maybe get you a rookie, a Jahlil Okafor, a 19-year-old who may or may not help next year. It makes no sense. There's no Tim Duncan in the draft. They have a title contending team. The Spurs got Duncan and they became a title contending team. Sure, they'd love the number 1 overall pick, but they'd love a championship more, and that's still on the table.
Plus, Duncan was a 4-year player at Wake Forest. Everybody knew what they were getting him. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah. That's all for this edition, but you can stay with the best coverage team every day at News OK and every morning in the Oklahoman.